Welcome to this demo of Code Risk Analyzer, a component of IBM Cloud Continuous Delivery. IBM Cloud Continuous Delivery provides a set of tools to build end-to-end cloud-native DevOps toolchains, hosted and managed on the IBM public cloud, including Git repositories and issue tracking, Tekton-based delivery pipelines for automating build, test, and deployments, deployment risk analysis to ensure you're ready to deploy with confidence, and a built-in web IDE. New is Code Risk Analyzer, a new capability that allows developers to rapidly find and fix any security and legal risks that are potentially introduced into their source code before the code is built and deployed. Based on projects initiated by IBM Research to bring security and compliance analytics to DevSecOps, Code Risk Analyzer is a security measure that can be configured to run at the beginning of your code pipeline, reviewing and analyzing Git repositories for known issues with any open source code that needs to be managed. So let's get into the demo. Starting from the DevOps homepage on the IBM Cloud, we can create a new toolchain. This will take us to the template catalog, which will allow us to select from a variety of different toolchain templates, or create a blank toolchain to start from scratch. We'll select a simple toolchain to securely build, test, and deploy a sample application to a Kubernetes cluster. On the templates configuration page, we need to fill in some basic information, like the name of our toolchain, its geolocation, and some Git parameters for our source code repository. Next, on the Delivery Pipeline tab, we'll provide or create an API key. It's needed for us to securely access the IBM Cloud runtime. Once entered, we can add information about the cluster where we want our app to be deployed. If you have an existing cluster, it'll be pre-populated here. If you don't already have a cluster, you can create one using the IBM Cloud command line interface or the web console. Clicking Create instantiates our toolchain. All of the tools in the toolchain are now accessible from the toolchain homepage. For example, clicking on the PR Pipeline tile takes us to the pipeline dashboard for our Code Risk Analyzer pipeline, where we can validate the Tekton pipeline that's been created, and also change any of the parameters that are associated with the pipeline. Let's see what happens when we return to our toolchain and modify some of our application code. Let's click on the Git repo tile and navigate to our app.js file. All I'm going to do here is modify one line of our application code, and then I'll commit the changes. But instead of committing to the master branch directly, I'm going to create a new branch for this change, and then open a merge request to merge this branch into the master. Okay, let's return to our toolchain, click on the pipeline, and we should see that our pipeline run has been kicked off. We're now running Code Risk Analyzer against our changes. As each task in the Tekton pipeline runs, you can see it begin to execute, and we'll be able to check our status for each task by clicking on the individual steps. Code Risk Analyzer performs vulnerability scans using the Sneak Threat Intelligence database, and CLAIRE for static analysis. It will also perform a deployment analysis to discover misconfigurations in your deployment YAMLs against industry standards, and it'll generate a bill of materials accounting for all the dependencies and their sources for your application. Okay, it looks like we've completed successfully. Drilling down into any of the Tekton tasks will take you to a detailed log which shows you all the results of that particular scan. In addition, if we go back to our Git repository, we can see that the results of the scans have been included in our merge request. In this case, our scans have shown no vulnerabilities, but if there were, you'd be able to drill down here into the CLAIRE data source and Sneak database to get a detailed view of remediation steps that you can take in order to fix the vulnerability issue that you have. Finally, clicking on the bill of materials will take you to a detailed list of all the dependencies for our application. So let's merge this branch now back into the master, just by confirming the merge here. And then we'll return to our toolchain. We should have automatically kicked off our CI pipeline to deploy our application to our Kubernetes cluster. So let's check on the status of that by clicking on the pipeline run. As you can see, the pipeline is now beginning to run, and once it's done executing, we will be able to drill down into our deploy to Kubernetes task Click on the link provided and see our running application. And there we are. So that completes this quick demo of Code Risk Analyzer and Tekton pipelines in IBM Cloud Continuous Delivery. For more information or to get started, please visit ibm.com/cloud/continuous delivery.